Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it has been a while. 1 year, in fact, since Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame class of 2022 came about on YouTube, Facebook, as well as Twitch. And I'm happy to be back 1 year later. I didn't expect it to be this long, but, surprise, surprise, I am back. And, there's my goofy laugh once again. But my name is Chris Maloney. I am the founder and editor of CWNonline.ca, otherwise known as CWN. Born in St. John, New Brunswick, living in London, Ontario. I am mid-40s. I will say that much. I'm closer to 50 than I am to 40. But Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame is an extension of the CWN website, hence the fact Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame by CWN. 2 years ago, so 2021, was the inaugural class of the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. And last year, obviously, the second, now the third. So, if you're watching or listening, thank you very much. If you took the time to vote, thank you very much as well. Very much appreciate it. More votes came in this year than previous years. And it's great to see, especially on the independent scene, the people get involved, get their families involved for votes and everything else. And I will explain most of that momentarily here. But normally I don't do this as a Hall of Fame episode, but I do want to start off with some sad news. I'm going to get rid of the banners here just for a sec. And I'm going to go in, and like I said, it's been a year, so if hit and miss as far as the graphics go, bear with me. But this came about yesterday, and unfortunately, it's one of those things in wrestling history that I was all pretty much settled for the night, had shut down the laptop, and went on to Twitter on my phone, and sure enough saw this news yesterday. About 5:30 yesterday afternoon, which was January the 17th, Jay Briscoe, one half of the Briscoe brothers, otherwise known as Jamin Pug, I want to say, pronounce his last name right. I didn't even know that was his real name. I always thought it was the Briscoe brothers and Jay Briscoe. But main thing is 38 years old, a car accident. Earlier today, it came about that basically he was in a car with his two daughters, and one of them had to have emergency back surgery. The other is recuperating but stable. His other kid, his son, was at home, so he was involved in the accident. His wife posted a statement today, but 38 years old, and it just brought about so many memories. And you're on Twitter and and Instagram and Facebook, and you've seen all the memories come in with regards to Jay Briscoe, the Briscoe brothers, 13-time champions. He had posted about 6 hours before his death that he found this new hat, and it's just a black hat turned backwards, and it said 13X. And, the big thing with the Briscoe brothers, 13-time World Tag Team Champions. I had the opportunity to see them twice, both times in Toronto, once in 2012 at Border Wars, I want to say it was, and then back in 2019. I actually took off from a WXW show at the halftime, the midway mark, to get down to the Mattamy Athletic Center, now what used to be known as Maple Leaf Gardens, to be able to see them in the main event. So the Briscoe brothers, as well as the Gorillas of Destiny. And if you're looking at the screen right now, you can see the picture I had taken at the very end of the night. That was all the carnage that had happened that night there at the Mattamy Athletic Center. The Briscoe brothers standing strong there, and just two of the craziest individuals I've ever seen in my life. And I had second or third row seats. I was actually sitting next to Angelina Love's cousins for the entire night, who were getting pretty inebriated, so to speak. Couldn't helped but noticed that Roosh was an amazing looking individual, so that was entertaining itself. But to me, the Briscoe brothers will always be synonymous with tag team wrestling. One of the biggest teams to never go to WWE, or AEW for that matter. And like I said, news came about yesterday with regards to Jay Briscoe passing away, 38 years old, married, 3 kids, and all the tributes have been absolutely amazing that have come in. But I want to send my thoughts and prayers and strength out to the family, friends, and fans of Jay Briscoe, the Briscoe brothers, Ring of Honor, AEW, Tony Khan, and very unfortunate news took place yesterday. But ironically enough, and I'll get to this probably towards the end of the show there, but I've been kind of doing live wrestling auctions, so to speak, and that was one of the ones I got just recently, ROH Best in the World. Production year was 2008, but Briscoe Brothers featured back then as well. So, I mean, they had a huge legacy in the business, 20 years, and unfortunate news with regards to Jay Briscoe. But, you know, it's tough. It's the wrestling business, and nobody would have expected it. But like I said, my thoughts, prayers, and strength are with him, his family, and his fans as well. That being said, this is the 2023 edition of the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame presented by CWN. The way it works is basically there are 9 votable categories that took place. We added a new category last year called the Perseverance category, but this year there was 9 votable categories taking place. The last category, the 10th category, is the Just Giv'er category, and that basically is special to one and only Cody Deaner, Mr. Deaner from Impact Wrestling there, also the Ontario Independent Wrestling scene, also Canadian Independent Wrestling scene. But I'll get more into the voting and the categories and everything else as I go. One of the big things with regards to voting for the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame presented by CWN, and I always say presented by CWN because there are other Hall of Fames that are out there. There is a Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame that's out there by Slam Wrestling. I didn't want to step on anybody's toes, so hence this is CWN's Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. That's why you always see the tag presented by CWN or by CWN. That being said, there are 9 votable categories that did take place: a legend category, male wrestler category, female wrestler, tag team. We got the Sharpshooter, the Siren, the MMA category, honor category, perseverance category, as well as the Just Giv'er category, the Just Giv'er award. Now, voting took place the whole month of November 2022. The way it works, I have 30% of the vote, but my vote necessarily doesn't matter. It's whether or not the individual is going to go in with 70% of the vote or 100% of the vote. If they go in with 70% of the vote, it means my personal vote didn't go for them. If they go in with 100% of the vote, my personal vote was with them as well. So I voted alongside everybody who voted online. That being said, the most important thing, and that's why I do everything I do on social media to get people behind it, is the online vote. And how I do that, basically, you have a Facebook, log in, and that's how you do the vote, and it's open to anybody. So if you have 50 family members and you send this out to 50 family members, and all of a sudden every one of those 50 family members vote, then so be it. You got a good shot. This year, I can't necessarily say that having 50 family members was the be-all and end-all in some of these categories. It's absolutely amazing. 2 of the categories specifically, and I'll get to those, but that being said, the way I do this, I'll show you the promo video that shows everybody that was in the category. If you have any questions or comments or any thoughts, please let me know. If you're watching YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, I'll see the comments here on StreamYard. I'll be able to answer those and show those on the screen. And basically, the way it works, I'll show the promo video, go over the names that are in the categories, and then basically I'll show you the winner as well. So what I do is I get rid of these graphics first. And yeah, if you want to message me at Chris Maloney, CWN, social media, or as well as the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame or CWNonline.ca. So that being said, like I said, I'm a little bit rusty, but I'm going to get through this the best I can. If you're watching, listening, thank you very much. But these were the nominees for the Legend category for the 2023 class. So those 5 gentlemen involved in the Legend category for the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame 2023 class. They were Abdullah the Butcher, Maurice Mad Dog Vachon, Gene Kaniski, Ivan Koloff, and Billy Watson. And I'm proud to announce the winner of this year's Legend category in the 2023 class of Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame is none other than Abdullah the Butcher, yes, the madman from Sudan, who has actually been lately on Instagram quite a bit, and it's go through a little bit of facts here with regards to Abdullah. Abdullah the Butcher, online vote, he took 28.4% of the vote. My vote was Ivan Koloff, so he's only going in with 70% of the vote, but he's still in. Born in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, 82 years old, pro debut in 1958, and the last match in October of 2010. That is astounding for Abdullah the Butcher. But congratulations to him. Other votes were, so like I said, Abdullah the Butcher got in at 28.4, Maurice Mad Dog Vachon 25.7, Gene Kiniski 18.9, Ivan Koloff 16.2, and Billy Watson at 10.8. So Abdullah the Butcher in for the legend category for the 2023 class of the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. And guys, you can check out the website officially, cpwhof.ca. I'll have everything up there on the website tomorrow. If you missed the show, you can see the show on the website as well. And like I said, if you missed the broadcast tonight, you can check it out on Facebook, YouTube, as well as Twitch tomorrow or anytime at all. And you see the email across the screen there, cpwhof at cwnonline.ca. Let me know what your thoughts are, the broadcast, the format, anything like that. So guys, from there, we're going to jump into the next category, which is going to be the male wrestler category. And again, 5 names were put in this category there. I'm going to get rid of these banners here, if I can find, oh, there they are. And I'm going to show you the video who was involved with the voting with regards to the male wrestler category for the 2023 class of the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. So those 5 names were involved in the vote for the 2023 male wrestler category for the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. We had Steve Corino, Eric Young, PCO, Lance Storm, and Chris Jericho. They used to be Ayatollah of Rock and Roll. I always used to like to say that. But guys, male wrestler 2023 class, the winner is Chris Jericho. So Jericho went in with 68.3% of the votes, followed by Lance Storm, his initial tag team partner, opponent as well, I think October 2nd, 1990. Lance Storm with 13.4% of the votes, PCO at 11, Eric Young at 7.3, and unfortunately no votes for Steve Corino. With regards to Chris Jericho, what more can I talk about with regards to him? He was born in Manhasset, New York, raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba, 52 years old currently, debuted in 1990, and is a current AEW star, and has won pretty much every major world championship for every single promotion he's been a part of. To know he's still wrestling at 52 years old, the shape that he is in, man, I wish I could be in that shape in my mid-40s. But Jericho, he's done it all in the business, as well as a lot of stuff on top of the business as well. And he's one of those game changers, so to speak. But congratulations to Chris Jericho on the male wrestler category for the 2023 class of the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. From there, guys, we go into the female wrestler category. And again, 5 names in the category there. I'm going to get rid of these banners. I'm going to go switch back to the brand. I'll get more and more used to this. I'll go into a little more detail later on in the show. But these are the names that were in the 2023 class running for the female wrestler category, the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, presented by CWN. So guys, those 5 women were involved with the female wrestler category for the 2023 class Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Maurice, Angelina Love, Rosemary, Gail Kim, and Natalia. And guys, officially going into the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame class of 2023. the one and only Natalya, Natty Neidhart. So she goes in with 52.7% of the votes, followed by Gail Kim, 24.3% of the votes. Rosemary was 10.8%. Angelina Love was 9.5%, and Maurice was at 2.7%. And I should say this as well, because I forgot about the last category. So Jericho goes in with 100% of the vote. I would have voted for Chris. I did vote for Chris Jericho, so he goes in with 100% of the vote. Female wrestler Natalya only goes in with 70% of the vote going to the class, so the 2023 class. Gail Kim was my vote for the 2023 class, so that's Gail Kim for you. Who was my vote, I should say. But Natalya, born in Calgary, Alberta, 40 years old currently, pro debut in 2000, current WWE SmackDown superstar, and she's pretty much done it all, and she is one of the go-tos as far as new WWE superstars coming into the business and looking for her advice, and she is there, and she's welcome to give that advice. Long legacy as far as her family goes. Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Bret the Hitman Hart, married to Tyson Kidd, TJ Wilson, obviously. So, Natalya, well deserved to go into the 2023 class of Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Guys, from there, we'll go into our fourth category of the night, which is the tag team category. And this one actually did surprise me. So, I'm going to get rid of these graphics first. And I wish there was a better way to be able to do that. Just like Siri, I probably shouldn't say that. My phone is right beside me. But the tag team category is next. And guys, 5 teams in this one. So you'll notice every single category, except for the Just Giv'er category, there is 5 teams or 5 members involved in the voting there. But like I said, this is the tag team category. And these were the nominees for the 2023 class of the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, presented by CWN. So those 5 strong tag teams involved in the voting for the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame 2023 class: Soul Patrol, Strike Force, the Vachons, the Quebecers, and Beer Money Inc. And guys, happy to announce, and surprising to announce, by the way, I'm going to show this here. Patrick Murphy, who I'll get to you momentarily there. Texas Hellraisers, which was an Ontario independent wrestling tag team that existed. And I will get to a story at the very end here, because it does relate to Pat Murphy, Scott Chase, the outlaw himself, so to speak. But as I was about to announce before being interrupted, thank you. But anyways, guys, so the winners of the tag team class 2023, Beer Money Inc. So surprising there, because you look at the names that were in there. You got the Quebecers, the Vachons, Strike Force, Soul Patrol, and Beer Money Inc. ends up getting in there. But when you think about Beer Money Inc., they have a huge lasting legacy in the business, and I didn't realize so much until I started looking into it recently, as of today. I will say this: so I'll do the online votes. Beer Money Inc. 38.1% of the votes. Quebecers 22.2%. Vachons 22.2%. So tie for second there. Strike Force at 14.3%, and Soul Patrol only at 3.2%. So interesting there. Soul Patrol, it seems like the tag teams kind of 2000s up are the ones that remember the most. Natalya, obviously Chris Jericho, got people like that. But Beer Money Inc. gets into the Hall of Fame 2023 class. So I went with the Vachons, 70%. So Beer Money Inc. goes in with 70% of the vote, but they're in. Bobby Roode, born in Peterborough, Ontario. That's what makes them Canadian. So it's, with regards to the tag teams, a little bit different. As long as one of them is Canadian, or as long as they had heavy ties to Canadian wrestling scene, that is the big thing with regards to the tag team division and the tag team class. Bobby Roode, like I said, born in Peterborough, Ontario, 46 years old, pro debut in 1998. He's a current WWE Raw superstar. James Storm, born in Franklin, Tennessee, 45 years old, pro debut in 1997. They formed officially in June of 2008, defeated LAX for their first championship on Impact Wrestling. 5-time TNA World Tag Team Champions. 5-time TNA World Tag Team Champions. And PWI Tag Team of the Year in 2008 and 2011. I believe their run was 2008 to 2011, and then again in 2016 briefly. But Bobby Roode, one of the most underrated superstars in the history of Canadian wrestling, in my opinion. And James Storm is just a workhorse, and I think he does house sales, down there in Tennessee or wherever he's living now. I think he's a sales rep or something like that. But to know he can take it from the ring into business, man, it's interesting, considering the fact that Bobby Roode was the businessman in that tag team there. But congratulations to Beer Money Inc. going into the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, presented by CWN 2023 class. Like I said, 38.1% of the vote. And another comment coming in here, and Patrick Murphy, Scott Chase just says, "Ha." Thank you very much, guys. If you have any comments at all, like I said, Facebook or Twitch or YouTube, feel free to comment. I'll gladly read them first and then post them on the screen. There are spams coming in, and I'm assuming that's probably everywhere, but I haven't done this in a year, so bear with me there. So next category is, now we're getting into the hot one, so to speak. So the sharpshooter category. And guys, I should say this. I'm assuming that everybody knows what the categories are, so it's pretty straightforward. I'll go through this. Legend, anybody who had a wrestling career that was prominent before 1980. Male wrestler, exceeded in, as far as a male wrestler in the pro scene. Female wrestlers, same thing. Tag team wrestlers, same thing. So, basically, they excelled as far as what they did as a professional wrestler. That's what gives them the opportunity to be in the vote, in my opinion. When it comes to the sharpshooter category, sharpshooter is basically anybody right now on the Canadian independent wrestling scene that has the ability to excel, that has the ability to become a superstar, that has the ability to become a household name in the next 5 or 10 years. It's interesting because with regards to this, and I'll let you know, it's not I do have my vote, and obviously, when the names go out there on the vote, it is my final decision, but the fact is I get a lot of help as far as the independent scene goes. I reach out to people out in BC, I reach out to people in Alberta, I reach out to people in the Maritimes, I reach out to people in Quebec as far as who do they feel are the hot shots, or who do they feel is up-and-coming talent that has that ability to become, a superstar, so to speak. So some of the names I don't necessarily recognize, so when I cast my vote and then start looking into what they've accomplished or what, how good they are, it's amazing to see when all the votes start coming in. It's like, wow, this, and then you start researching. It's like, yeah, these guys actually do deserve it, or these women actually do deserve it. But that being said, so Sharpshooter and Siren. Sharpshooter is male who has the ability to excel, and Siren is the female who has the ability to excel. And those are both Canadian independent wrestling categories. And like I said, I do get help with those. So I'm going to get rid of the graphics here. I'm going to go back down to my brand, and obviously I'm reading off the screen because it's been a while, but here are the nominees for the sharpshooter category for the Canadian Independent Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, presented by CWN 2023 class. So I should say this as well. If you listen to audio, thank you very much. I'll probably try to be as descriptive as I possibly can. So sometimes when I'm posting stuff on the screen, I'm like, oh, wait, they can't see it on audio. But anyways, just posted the video for the sharpshooter category. 5 nominees in that category. They included Junior Benito, Bryce Hanson, Vaughn Vertigo, Hollywood Cole, and Son of Irish. And this is where it started to get interesting as far as the voting went. But 2 names stood out kind of above the rest. One took it at 46.3% of the vote. Second place was 35% of the vote. And like I said, it could have went either way here. But guys, happy to announce that the 2023 class, Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, presented by CWN. Inductee is the one and only Son of Irish. So congratulations. He is on the Alberta independent wrestling scene. He did post a statement. I will show that momentarily there. Just give you a little bit of brief history about the Son of Irish. Online vote, like I said, 46.3% of the vote. My vote was Hollywood Cole, so Son of Irish only going in with 70%, but he's still in. And so Son of Irish 46.3%, Hollywood Cole 35%. Von Vertical, 7.5%, Bryce Hanson, 6.9%, and Junior Benito at 4.4%. So Son of Irish killed it, but Hollywood Cole wasn't far behind there. With regards to Son of Irish, he resides in Edmonton, Alberta. Pro debut September 2017 for MPW Monster Pro Wrestling, trained by the Irishman and Massive Damage. And like I said, some of these I shouldn't say normally, but I reached out to a lot of people, but the independent guys are usually the ones that get back to me pretty much right away, and I appreciate that, and thank you very much for that. With that being said, I'm going to hide the graphics here just momentarily, because I do have a statement I'm going to put up with regards to Son of Irish that he sent me, and I will read it to everybody so those listening on audio can hear it as well. I'm just going to find it here. I think it should be good. Yes, here we go. So it is on the screen right now. So, future Son of Irish. So the future is his nickname. Truly like to thank everyone who nominated me on the Sharpshooter category this year, as I've been working so hard for everything that I earned, and I was told as a kid I would never make it into any wrestling business from friends and some family members as well, as they would all laugh at me, telling me it's not possible. I'm now 18 years old and a second generation in the business, and my dad was my way in the Irishman. And if you're looking here, the pictures on the screen, that is him and his dad. And I call myself the future of professional wrestling because of everything I've went through, and with how hard I work in the business. I've wrestled for 8 different wrestling promotions, 11 years experience total, and 6 years in shows professionally. That being said, I started when I was 8 years old, training at by the time I was 13. Reminds me of these other kids that kind of were in Alberta. One Harry Smith and TJ Wilson there. I made my professional wrestling debut, so being on this list truly means a lot to me, and the shows I've worked for, every opportunity that has come my way, and from here we only get better. Never let anyone tell you that you can't do it, because the only person stopping you is yourself. So that is great there from the Son of Irish. Congratulations to him, and like he said, he's a lot of experience in the wrestling business, and he's still young. The coolest thing about him is when you go through his social medias, you can kind of see how much he's changed in his wrestling gear, his wrestling style. But here's a kid who's going to blow it out of the water someday, and I can't wait to see good things come from him. That is the Son of Irish, and he is in for the Sharpshooter category for 2023 class. Guys, from there we go into the Siren category. This is a female Canadian independent wrestling scene that has the ability to excel in the business. Again, I reached out to people across Canada as far as who to put in for the vote. Some of the names I was familiar with, some of the names I wasn't. This vote right here just absolutely killed it, and I will get into more detail in a moment though, but I was surprised with the amount of votes that came in. I was surprised by the percentage of number of votes that separated number 1, number 2. But that being said, pleasantly surprised to see the fan support get behind this one here. So got rid of the graphics. I'm going to go down, find the video, and these were the nominees for the 2023 class Siren category for the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, presented by CWN. So guys, that is the Siren category for the female with the ability to excel in the wrestling business. 5 names in this one: Taylor Rising, Jody Threat, Miley Chantel, and Riley Rose. I will say this. So, online vote, first place was 44.6. Second place was 43.4. there was four votes that separated the two women as far as first and second went. And between the two women there, 292 votes were cast for them. That is absolutely unreal. So top place was 44.6, second place 43.4, then it would drop down to 5.4%, 4.8%, and 1.8%. Absolutely unreal. I've only been doing this 3 years, but I've never seen that many votes come in and that have it that close. It was absolutely amazing. But I'd like to say this. So 2023 class Siren category, congratulations to the one and only relentless Riley Rose out of Alberta as well. I was doing some research today. I actually listened to an interview with CBC, I think radio or CBC.ca. She was getting ready for her debut, which was absolutely amazing. She's talking about where she trained, her real name versus her gimmick name, her wrestler name, so to speak. You could hear the excitement in her voice, and it was a pretty cool interview. So check that out. Look for it on CBC Radio. Just type in Riley Relentless. I'm bad with the R's. Relentless Riley Rose. And you'll see the CBC interview that comes up there. But like I said, she won by 4 votes. Chantel was my vote because I was familiar with familiar with her from Maritime Wrestling. I am a Maritimer, living in London, Ontario, but I grew up 19 years in the Maritimes. But she goes in with 70%. Riley Rose does. Chantel was my vote. Rose, like I said, won by 4 votes. 292 total votes cast between Riley Rose and Chantel. Riley Rose, I will get that right, resides in Edmonton, Alberta, pro debut in June 2022 for Top Talent Wrestling, and she was trained by Heavy Metal. And congratulations to her. And with that being said, guys, I'm going to drop the banners here, and where's the other one? Do this. And I do have a video that was sent to me by the one and only Relentless Riley Rose on her victory, and congratulations once again. Guys, here's the video for you.
Hi everyone, I'm Relentless Riley Rose. It was such an honor to be nominated for the Siren Class category among with other terrific ladies. I want to thank all of you who have voted, and I want to give a big thank you to the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, my peers, and my trainers. It would not have been possible without you guys. Hope to see y'all ringside.
So that was the one and only Relentless Riley Rose going into the 2023 class of the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame presented by CWN. And like I said, you'll see all the graphics posted on the CPWHOF website tomorrow. And once again, congratulations to Relentless Riley Rose. Guys, from there we go into the MMA category. This is one of my personal favorites. This, back in 2021, was almost an afterthought, and I was like, you know what, I have been a fan of UFC and MMA since like 1993, 1994. I know enough about Canada and the Canadians in MMA and UFC and stuff like that, as well as Bellator, as well as PFL, and I was like, you know what, I have to honor these guys. And the first year it was GSP obviously going in. Last year was Patrick Cote, and this year, well, we had 5 nominees once again. So guys, I take these graphics down, and if you're on audio, just watch the video for like a good 30 seconds. You'll understand when I say taking the graphics down here, and they're not really graphics, they're just kind of banners and stuff like that. But anyways, from there, MMA category, these were the 5 nominees for the MMA category for the 2023 class Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame presented by CWN. So guys, those were your 5 nominees for the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame class of 2023 for MMA category. They were Elias Theodoro, rest in peace, David Loiseau, Sam Stout, TJ Grant, and Rory McDonald. Unfortunately, for the second year in a row, TJ Grant is not in, and he placed second. Guys, with that being said, going into the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame class of 2023 is the one and only Red King, Rory McDonald. When I think of big names in Canada, he's up there top 5 for sure. I mean, obviously, GSP, Patrick Cote, Rory McDonald, David Loiseau, Sam Stout, because I'm in the same city as Sam Stout, and the list goes on and on and on. And sometimes it's hard to kind of think, who am I going to put in the vote for this year? But David the Crow Loiseau, big fan of his back in the day. GSP, obviously, Patrick Cote, and now Rory McDonald going in. With regards to Rory McDonald, he recently retired, which was... I mean, when you think about pro wrestling, guys are still in their 50s wrestling. When you think about MMA, mixed martial arts, I will say this. So I'll go through the votes first, and I'll talk about Rory McDonald. So Rory McDonald won with 38.1% of the vote. TJ Grant right behind him at 35.7%. TJ Grant was second last year as well, behind Patrick Cote. Sam Stout, 11.9%. David Loiseau at 7.1%. And Elias Theodoro, again, rest in peace, 7.1% as well. With regards to Rory McDonald, so... Rory McDonald, online vote was 38.1. Elias Theodoro, like I said, rest in peace. Unfortunately, passed away this year, last year, September 11, 2022, at the age of 34 with colon cancer. He was my vote to go in. So Rory McDonald only goes in with 70% of the vote. But, it's Rory McDonald. He's a Red King. Born in Quesnel, BC, 33 years old, MMA days. So 33 years old, already retired. MMA debut and win in 2005 at Extreme Fighting Challenge 4, fought for UFC, Bellator, PFL. His MMA record was 23-10-1. So in a matter of, less than, 10 years, so to speak, he 23 wins, 10 losses, 1 tie, 1 draw, so to speak, but definitely deserves to go in. Retired, like I said, at 33 years old. That's insane, but he is the vote for the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame presented by CWN 2023 class. So congrats to Rory McDonald. And congrats on your retirement as well. Enjoy it. There's not enough, I should say, pro wrestlers that end up retiring in their 30s or 40s. Like I said, Jericho is like 52 and he's still out there doing it. Edge is up there as well. But the difference between wrestling and MMA for sure. Guys, next category coming up here is the one and only honor category. And this kind of ties into the Just Giv'er category. So we wanted something different. Now, the honor category, I'm just going to bring up the website here for CPWHOF. And the reason for it, because I want to make sure because I included something else this year with regards to the category. So the honor category, if you go to CPWHOF.ca, dedicated Canadian creator. So that was the difference here, because I added the creator category to this honor category itself. Canadian creator, journalist, manager, promoter, referee, trainer that excelled in the business. So that is the category itself. So again, 5 nominees in this category itself. Creator was added this year on top of everything that was in there last year, as well as 2021. But guys, here is the video for the nominees for the honor category for the 2023 class. Enjoy. So those 5 men were nominated for the 2023 class, the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in the honor category. Reggie Parks was the reason why I added the creator. He is most popular for the Winged Eagle Championship. So that championship held by Macho Man Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, if you want to say it that way, Bret the Hitman Hart, obviously, Shawn Michaels, the Ultimate Warrior. The list goes on and on and on. Nature Boy Ric Flair at Royal Rumble 92. I mean, that belt was huge. And Reggie Parks is the reason why that belt exists. So he was in the vote. Ed Whalen was in the vote. Ed Whalen, to me, was... I mean, you talk about wrestling WWF or WCW... NWA back in the day. Ed Whalen, to me, was every Monday at 6 p.m. on TSN. He would get in there. He would rival up, the wrestlers in the ring, get them going. He'd be on commentary, interviews. To me, he was just as big as Mean Gene Okerlund. He was just as big as, say, Lord Alfred Hayes or Jesse the Body Ventura, Gorilla Monsoon behind the mic as well. So Ed Whalen, pretty much you can probably tell who I voted for, but Ed Whalen was up there for me. I mean, he was a legend. Sweet Daddy Siki, Scott D'Amore, and then Emile Dupree. And you want to talk about legends, guys? Leo Burke. Okay, Leo Burke to me, and I said this recently on Facebook. I forget what group it was part of, but I said Leo Burke to me was just as big as Hulk Hogan. The reason I say that is because when I was a kid, I was in the Maritimes. Okay, we didn't necessarily have WCW, NWA, WWF back at the time, always showing up on TV. But the one thing I could guarantee, TSN would show Stampede Wrestling, as well as ATV. So not CTV, but ATV would show Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling usually every Saturday, I want to say 2 p.m. And to me, the fights between Stephen Pettipaw and Leo Burke and the Cuban Assassin and those guys there, and there's just some of the big names that come to my mind. I know I'm missing some of them. But Leo Burke to me was as big and as powerful as Hulk Hogan. I mean, I tuned in that TV, and I'd usually be at my grandparents' house, and all of a sudden my grandfather was like, stop watching. I was like, no, just let me watch Leo Burke, you know? But the reason for it is the name that's going into the honor category of the 2023 class this year. And guys, if you haven't guessed it, here it is. It's the one and only Emile Dupree. He was the main guy behind Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, so AGPW. And to me, Emile Dupree, thank you very much for giving me my childhood every Saturday, as a maritime kid. And like I said, I grew up in St. John, New Brunswick, and born and bred and proud of it. And to me, it was Stampede Wrestling on TSN, WWF on this, I think it was Detroit station, but it was only shown maybe once or twice every couple months. And obviously Saturday Night's Main Event was big as well. But to me, everything I had to look forward to was Stampede in Calgary, and Ed Whalen, obviously, and Emile Dupree, and Atlantic Grand Prix Championship Wrestling. So a little bit about Emile Dupree. Rene Dupree's father, obviously, former WWF Tag Team Champion, WWE Tag Team Champion, my apologies. Emile Dupree, online vote. I'll go through the online vote first, just to let you know. So Emile Dupree got in 29%, Scott D'Amore 27.4%, Sweet Daddy Siki 21%, Ed Whalen was 16.1%, and Reggie Parks was 6.5%. Ed Whalen was my vote. So obviously Emile Dupree going in at 70%. Born in Shediac, New Brunswick, been there many a times, not too far away from St. John. He is currently 86 years old, promoter of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, and like I said, the father of the one and only Rene Dupree. But to me, like I said, AGPW, Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, was it for me as a kid. It was just as big as the WWF, and Leo Burke was just as big as Hulk Hogan. So that being said, guys, we're going to go to our next category, which is our final votable category, I do believe. And yes, it is. And this was added last year. With regards to conversations from somebody on the Ontario independent wrestling scene that gave me some thoughts, gave me some ideas. And I thought about it because, you think of Sharpshooters, you think of Sirens. Two individuals have the ability to excel in the wrestling business. And then what about those guys, those women who have persevered, who have, driven in cars, driven miles, kilometers, all over the place just to try to get their name out there. And this is back in the day before the internet actually existed. Tape trading, or hey, do you know somebody who can, or book me on the show? Or they'd show up anyways, just to hope that maybe they could be a fill-in, or somebody was injured, or they could set up chairs or the ring, or whatever the case may be. So to me, just made sense. The perseverance category came about last year. Didn't exist in 2021, but it did come about last year. And the reason for it is somebody who has given their craft, given their, basically their life, so to speak, to pro wrestling, independent wrestling here in Canada, mainly for 15 plus years. And that to me is insurmountable. Last year it was Outlaw Scott Chase that went in. He had given it, pretty much his all as far as a wrestling career goes. And the 5 nominees this year as well, you can say the exact same thing for. This is something as well. I reached out to people across Canada from coast to coast with regards to names that they thought should be on the vote, on the ballot for the Hall of Fame, for the vote itself. So guys, get rid of these graphics here. I'm going to go down. I'll bring up the video for the Perseverance category for the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame presented by CWN 2023 class. So guys, five top individuals there as far as the voting went. You've got Lincoln Steen, Bobby Sharp, Tyson Dukes, Lufisto, and Frankie TM, otherwise known as Frankie the Mobster. And going in this year for the Perseverance category for the 2023 class of Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame presented by CWN is the one and only Lincoln Steen. And I have heard about this guy for many, many years. He has a very unique look, a very unique gimmick. And I'm not trying to be offensive, but I didn't realize he was so up there in age because he still looks like a young kid. With that being said, 40 years old, born in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and his pro debut was back in 2000. Lincoln Steen, though, has been one of those names that's always been synonymous with, I want to say Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. No, Maritime Wrestling. And, his name has always stood out. And there's a few names down in the Maritimes that have always stood out. And Lincoln Steen is one of them there. As far as the vote goes, Lincoln Steen killed it. So 53.2% of the vote, followed by Bobby Sharp at 27% of the vote, Tyson Dukes at 9.5% of the vote, Lufisto at 8.7% of the vote, and Frankie TM, Frankie the Mobster, at 1.6% of the vote. Tongue-tied, still getting used to this, but Lincoln Steen going into the Perseverance category for 2023 class. Congratulations to him. And guys, time for the final category of the night. And here I will share a few stories, and because you'll see some of the pictures that come up with the promo here. I haven't done a promo for this category here. It's called the Just Giv'er Award. And the Just Giv'er Award is basically for a Canadian. So it started with, well, let me backtrack just a little bit there. My wife and I, as well as Sean Bates, who everybody knows from Scumbags of Wrestling, also helped me co-found CWN. We're, talking with regards to Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in the beginning. And, my wife suggested, how about a category for somebody who just isn't in the wrestling business, but goes above and beyond to do something else, charity work or, training people or whatever the case may be. And immediately I thought of Cody Deaner. And I talked to Sean about it, and Sean was like, immediately Cody Deaner. And my wife was familiar with Cody Deaner as well for, the amount of times that we talked about him, or I'd be getting ready for a podcast or doing the website, whatever the case may be. And she was familiar with him. And then all of a sudden, long story short, Cody, has come out with regards to his own name and has promoting himself as under his own name to do motivational speaking, and which is very, very cool because he is one of the most humble human beings in the world. And anytime I've ever had the opportunity to meet him or see him or talk to him, he's always been gracious with his time. He's a very busy man, family man as well, Impact Wrestling star. But, so Cody Deaner, we came up with the name Just Giv'er Award. I think there was Just Giv'er Award as well as there was another one. And Cody was like, well, how about Just Giv'er? So it became a Just Giv'er Award. Cody was the inaugural award recipient. Last year, it was, well, you know what? I'm going to get to the video first, and I'll continue with story time here. I feel like story time with Adam Cole. He just came back last week. But this is the video I came up with regards to the Just Giv'er category, guys. Enjoy. So the first picture in that graphic there was Cody Deaner, obviously with the the way I do the official you're in the Hall of Fame, so to speak. Second picture was Cody doing his thing. CodyDeaner.com is one of his websites. The third is Chris Gray. That is Cody Deaner's real name, and that's what he's doing as far as his motivational speaking goes now. And you can go to, I think it's chrisgrayspeaks.com, I believe was the graphic there. I'll make sure it's included with everything I post on the website. And then the second to last picture that you see in that graphic, you see in that promo, to me was one of the coolest moments I've ever experienced on the Canadian Pro Wrestling, so the Canadian Independent Wrestling or Pro Wrestling scene at that. So last June, COVID, the pandemic, it's all going away. So, and with that being said, I mean, things are starting to open up and feel normal again. And, you know, Greektown Wrestling was coming to London. I was like, you know what? I've never been there. And, you know, Violent by Design, who I was watching on Impact Wrestling every week, you know, was doing their thing, and they were coming to London. And I was like, you know what? This is pretty cool. And then Greektown had this VIP thing where all of a sudden you get in early and you get to meet Violent by Design, you know, and get their autographs and picture everything else. And so, anyways, I get there early and I see a few familiar faces I haven't seen in a while, you know, fans and this and that. And all of a sudden I get in and I talked to Diener beforehand. And I was like, look, I want to present you with the plaque. I want to present you with the T-shirt for CWN as well as Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, and with the Just Giv'er thing underneath of it. And Diener was like, sure. So I asked him his size, and you know, sure enough, I went in and he set up his merch table and he's talking to a fan, and I present him with the plaque, presented with the T-shirts, and he goes, "Steven's here." I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Steven's here." And Steven Spice had come down with Frankie TM, Frankie the Mobster. So Frankie had picked up Steven and his mom on his way from Quebec in Toronto on his to London, because Frankie TM was main eventing, and it picked up Steven and his mom on the way. So I get to meet Steven for the first time, even though, you know, he's been on the show. I got to meet his mom for the first time, and you know, the picture with Cody and Steven was absolutely, to me, phenomenal, because it's the two of them. The inductees, you know, for the Just Giv'er category, you know, 2021, 2022. But to me, it's just a touching moment. And anything that happened at Greektown that night, you know, I have to kind of try to remember. But that picture, that moment just meant something tremendous to me. So, you know, it's pretty damn cool, I tell you that. And you know, just the look on Steven's face and Cody's face and that picture, just to me is symbolic. And you know, to me, that is the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. That is what Cody Diener is all about. And Steven last year, every year, raises money for sick kids, and you know, he's dealing with his issues himself. And you know, I invited him to be on tonight's show, but he's been having headaches and neck aches and stuff like that. But I said I'd give him a shout out. So hey, Steven, you know, I hope you're watching or see this. And you know, it was an honor to induct him last year and have him on the show last year. And you know, that being said, it's a good thing, because this category is an amazing thing, because it's somebody who goes above and beyond outside, you know, of the wrestling business with regards to Diener, and with regards to Steven Spice, somebody who goes above and beyond themselves as a human being to make other people's lives better. And you know, that's what this category is all about. So guys, that being said, I'm gonna get rid of the graphics here. Cody has sent me a video with regards to the award recipient for 2023. I'm going to show that to you, followed up by the thanking to Cody Diener from that award recipient. But guys, enjoy these two videos here. I will play them back to back, and then I'll give my final thoughts here. Just one sec.
Hey guys, Cody Diener here, and it is my honor and privilege to announce this year's recipient of the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame Just Giv'er Award. This award goes to an individual or an organization that goes above and beyond their regular call of duty, so to speak. Someone or an organization that decides they want to give back to their community in a positive way. And I can think of no better organization this year to receive the Just Giv'er Award than Rock Solid Wrestling. Rock Solid Wrestling goes into so many Canadian communities and puts on family-friendly entertainment, but that is not why they're receiving the award this year. No, they're receiving this award because every time they go into a community, they don't just put on an amazing event, they give back to the community by raising money for charity. A portion of the proceeds of every single event they have done since the inception of the company, they have raised money for amazing charities like the Special Olympics and other local charities that they want to get involved with. Just this past year alone, when they ran not as many shows as they normally do, just in 4 events, they were able to raise over $10,000 for charity. And I wondered if I wanted to present this award to this company, because I knew that based on their humility and the fact that they do not want recognition for what they do, I was questioning whether they'd even want to receive the award, because they have done so much of this amazing work kind of in secret and not in the public eye. They don't want to receive accolades for this, but we are going to give them an accolade this year, and we're going to recognize all the amazing work that they do for the Special Olympics and so many other local charities in this amazing country. So it is my honor and privilege, like I said, to present this year's Just Giv'er Award to an awesome Canadian wrestling company, Rock Solid Wrestling.
I guess I'm back. All right, so I was hoping to play the second video right away, but I'm going to do that right now. So here we go.
Hello, I'm Mark Bartolucci from Rock Solid Wrestling, and I really appreciate the award. Couldn't thank you enough, Cody Diener. Rock Solid, of course, has been around since 2007, and charity has been, at the foundation of the way we did business up till present day. I'd like to thank John Edwards from Rock Solid. We got Mark Etier, who does some business for us up north. Both of them have raised tons of money on behalf of us, and and then I want to thank the locker room, because people want to come see some good wrestling, which we have the best. So I'd like to thank Bill Matthews, and I'd like to thank Chris Tidwell, and the greatest locker room in wrestling today, in my opinion. We also have the volunteers who represent the charities who we deal with, and some of them on long term, going on 10 years, some of them. So I'd like to say thank you to the Sudbury Playground Hockey League and Special Olympics in Collingwood. And once again, can't thank you enough, Cody. Thank you so much. And there's more to come. Take care.
So I want to say thank you to both guys there, Cody Diener, of course, as well as Mark. I want to pronounce your last name right, Bartolucci. With regards to your videos, and thank you very much. And like I said, Just Giv'er Award this year goes to Rock Solid Wrestling, phenomenal company, and they have existed for quite a while. Actually, when I was doing some research today, debut in Collingwood, Ontario, June 2007, and the main event looks like it was that, and I can't confirm this, but it, back in the day, it should be Jake O'Reilly defeating Cody Diener in the main event. So Just Giv'er Award, like I said, Cody said, going to Rock Solid Wrestling, and Mark Bartolucci. Congratulations on that, and congratulations on all the success you've had with regards to your charity work, and continue to excel with regards to your promotion, your charity work, and your roster, of course, as well. And hopefully I'll get to be able to get up there and see us show one of these days. I have been to Collingwood before for a show, and that was way back in the day. And ironically enough, who was in the main event? Cody Diener. And it was a short story here. So Adrenaline Live Wrestling, and I was doing their website for them, and it was one of the coolest moments in my life. I was a Chris Sabin fan, still am a Chris Sabin fan, and the promoter, so I was doing the website for ALW, Adrenaline Live Wrestling, and the promoter at the time had come up to me and said, "Hey, can you do the website?" I was like, "Yeah, of course I'll do the website." And it was going back and forth, and he goes, "Hey, I have a favor to ask." And I was like, "Yeah, what's that?" And this is back in the days, cell phones didn't exist. It was all over, phone, whatever, MSN Messenger, whatever the case may be. He was like, "Can you do me a favor?" And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Can you pick up Chris Sabin in London and drive him to Collingwood and back?" He said he'll drive over from Detroit to London, and then you'll be able to drive him from London to Collingwood, and then Collingwood back to London, and then basically he'll drive himself back to Detroit. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I was like, "Hell yeah." I got off the phone, and I was excited. And so we ended up driving Sabin back and forth to Collingwood. We get up there, and I'll never forget this. We get into a Subway in Collingwood, and Sean Spears is sitting there. And so I introduced Sean to not Cody, but Sean to Chris, and Chris to Sean, and Sean's sitting there eating Subway. And then we go over to the venue, and it was a cool moment for me. Main event was triple threat between Cody Diener, Sean Spears, and Chris Sabin. And Sabin is treating, me like just a normal, just human being, appreciated the fact that we give him a ride to Collingwood. And then he goes into wrestling mode. So all of a sudden he says, yeah, he goes, I've got to go get changed. And he's doing his autograph signing, everything else. And then sure enough, at one point he takes off to a corner and he's there with Shawn Spears and Cody Deaner. And they're working out the match itself. And to me, seeing that was one of the coolest moments of my life. I was like, man, this is cool. And then when you see the match produced, the match put together, it was like, man, this is awesome. You know, it's just the full experience. And then we get back to London about I think 2:00 in the morning. Say goodbye to Chris Sabin, and you know, it's one of my top 5 wrestling moments in the history of my life right there. But Cody Deaner, again, part of that. So, and that was Collingwood, Ontario. So congratulations, Rock Solid Wrestling, going in for the Just Giv'er Award this year. So that was a little short story there. But guys, it's been great. It's been enlightening, I should say. You know, it's something I've missed. It's been a long year, so to speak. A lot of changes, a lot of good changes. I'll show you guys this just before I go. One of the coolest changes in my life this year was this guy. So that is my boy. That is Jasper. He is going to be officially a year old in April. I think April 7th or 8th officially. But that is my boy. That is my puppy, Jasper. The name took a little bit. So there's various names. I wanted to name him Max. My daughter, my 4-year-old, wanted to name him Clifford. And Clifford didn't stand, and neither did Max, but that is Jasper. And unfortunately, back in August, that paw that's sticking out there, he had broken it in 2 different spots. We took him to the vet $1,200 later, and a long 5 weeks, and he's back to normal as he can be for a puppy. He is part husky, he is part lab, and he is part, I want to say, retriever. I might have that last one wrong. My wife knows for sure. But anyways, he's a cute pup. He grows big. He grows fast. But that has been one of the greatest additions to my life, you know, in the past year or so. Guys, it's been fun. I tell you this, the itch is starting to come back to do a podcast again. Not sure how I'm going to bring it back. But with the indie wrestling scene booming again, especially the amount of events that we get here live in London and as well as around the area. It's been cool. I know doing the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, it's interesting because all of a sudden November comes up and the vote, and then all of a sudden December, and then it's like, oh my God, we're here, you know. So, but doing this again is kind of second nature. One of the other coolest things that I discovered last year was I am an official contributor to WrestlingObserver.com. I was doing it full time and then stepped down to a part-time basis, so you'll see my name up there every now and then, but it was specific and exclusive to Impact Wrestling. So when I went to that show for Greektown and saw Violent by Design, I had been reporting on Impact Wrestling every single week, watching the product and doing my write-up on the product, so I was well familiar with everything that had to do with Impact Wrestling. So very cool for me to have the opportunity to meet Violent by Design back in June of last year, especially now with Eric Young heading back to WWE, and the what Joe Doring is going through for the second time around. Get well, Joe Doring. Thoughts, prayers, and strength are with you. Yeah, it's quite a year last year, but like I said, I'm starting to get the itch to do this again, and I don't think I did too bad tonight. So anyways, if you're watching, listening, thank you very much, and if you're listening on audio, thank you very much as well. And thank you very much for listening as always and watching as always. And last thing, Pat Murphy, Scott Chase. The story I have is this. So I talked about the word synonymous. One of the things he is always going to be synonymous with me with regards to is the fact is when I was a fan of Canadian independent wrestling way back in the day, and it's interesting because somebody named named Notorious TID, who Mark had mentioned in his video there, just recently retired. It takes me back to the day when I became an independent wrestling fan. It was like early 2000s. Well, they had this show in Paris, Ontario, and I think I mentioned it on my podcast at one point, but Paris, Ontario was didn't happen the way it should have. I remember going to a mall. I remember the Texas Hellraisers in the mall with Angel Williams, Angelina Love signing autographs. And then from there, they go to the Paris, I think, Fairgrounds, or I think it was called. No ring, no promoter, and the missing link sitting there in a car having a smoke. And that's my biggest memories of Scott Chase, Pat Murphy. Back in the day, I've also seen him wrestle tons and tons of times, and saw him in the ring with the Highlanders, which was absolutely cool as well. And he was the first into the perseverance category. But every time I think of Scott Chase, Pat Murphy, I think of Paris, Ontario. But and the I guess the life he's lived since, and as well as Angelina Love as well. But that's a short story about Pat Chase, Scott Murphy there. But guys, it has been great. Thank you very much for watching and listening as always. You may see me return sometime soon on my other shows there. We'll have to wait and see. But that itch is definitely back. So, guys, thank you very much for watching and listening. This has been 2023 class Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame presented by CWN. And as always, thank you very much for watching and listening. And I will see everybody again sometime soon.